Welcome to The Tangent. Gentlemen grade the world. Each week, Scott and I start with a topic from the previous episode, then we see where the conversation takes us. Along the way, a question, idea, or disagreement sparks a tangent, and that tangent becomes next week's discussion. And our tangent from last week is, what is intelligence?
Yes, I'm going to like this one. I think I am going to like talking about this.
Yeah, so. It's going to be tough, though. This could go so many directions. This is like, sure. Even the people who study this every day can't agree on what intelligence is.
Right. So, we try not to do a whole lot of research, but I did a little bit, and it was just exactly what you say. The disagreements percolated to the surface very quickly in what I was reading about, there's 5, there's 7, that one doesn't count, all this stuff. So,
I did the same thing, and that made me think. It said, it probably would have been good if we would have brought someone in that wasn't an educator on this, because we are probably more, I would think from our training and our experiences, we are probably more multiple intelligence than versus general intelligence. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
well, interesting thought. Something that happened just yesterday. So I play in this pretty regular trivia night, and it was a group of friends, and one of them is a surgeon, and she's super smart person, and very knowledgeable about lots of things. But she said, "Oh, how's the podcast going?" I told her what the topic was. She's like, "Oh, okay. So is it all about your SAT score?" And I said, "I don't know. Do you think it is?" She said, "Well, yeah, I think so." She said, "Most of the people that I know that are surgeons or doctors, they were successful in that venue with that index."
Things are definitely set up for a certain measure. There's no doubt about that.
So I challenged her a little, and then later on, it was interesting, because later on she talked about she was going to have some medical procedure done in the next few weeks. And she made sure that she knew who all the nurses were that were going to be in her she picked her day based upon the staffing of the nurses. And so I just checked, kind of pushed on that a little bit. And she started, without using the words, started saying, well, they're just a lot more attuned to, the patient's needs, and they're a lot more responsive to the cares of the patient. And then I'm like, so that's another. I wonder how our SAT scores are. That's not on that index, or that's not on that same measurement stick.
Yeah, so. And then you get on, you get into the when you're talking about multiple intelligences, which I guess as educators we're probably most familiar with Howard Gardner's theory.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's what you were probably talking about when you said, is there 7 or is there 9? And there's 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I thought. But some people are cutting some out, I guess, if they don't like those.
Yeah, exactly.
So then you get into, the idea, the other side of that is you have general intelligence that covers all that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you happen to try to write a definition for yourself?
Yes.
I did too.
Did you?
I did too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What you got? Tell me what you got. I want to hear yours.
So I said, using information and skills to meet specific goals.
Okay. That's similar to mine. Mine was, if you find yourself in a unique situation, a foreign situation.
Okay.
What do you draw upon? What information do you draw upon, either that you have or that you can garner from the situation? And then how do you use that to solve the problem or address the situation?
Okay. So see, I was trying to do like, here's my thinking going to you. I think in the way I was thinking about my definition, your definition would be a highly intelligent person. I was just kind of trying to define what is intelligence. It's using some set of information and skills to meet a specific goal. So if you're talking about a whatever primate it is that uses a stick to get out termites.
Okay. Chimpanzee.
That's a specific goal. Using that skill and the information they've learned from parents or whatever to get those termites out. But when you're talking about, did you say a variety of situations or?
Well, just whatever situation you're in.
So I think if you can adapt it to a variety of situations, you can take a wide range of information and skills and adapt it to different situations. The better you are at that and the more unique situations, I would say probably is a higher intelligent being.
Yeah, see, I guess I would argue that chimpanzee is very intelligent because they put themselves in a situation, or they find themselves in a situation where they need to draw upon what they know or what skills they have to solve that situation. You know, they have a hunger and they have the knowledge or the ability to hold that, you know, bamboo or stick or whatever. But, and they know, you know.
Yeah, they are definitely highly intelligent compared to other non-humans. But you compare them to a human that can use, you know, several tools to do several things in several different situations.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Because you could also say, you could say a plant uses the information that it's gathered to survive in whatever it finds itself in, couldn't you? At a low level?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, because I think about, like, to me the classic example is, you know, plants lean towards the light.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's you know, trees or house plants or whatever lean towards the light. I don't know that that's. I don't know. I don't know. That's an interesting question, because is that intelligence on a cellular level? Like those individual cells, like when they have a, you know, because if we want to play that out, like, why do they lean towards the light? Because the light allows them to do the chlorophyll to do photosynthesis to give them energy. Okay, do they know they are low in, you know, energy? And then make the decision to lean that way?
So then we're asking, is part of intelligence knowing and understanding what you're doing? And do they know and understand what they... would you agree that part of intelligence, the definition would be knowing and understanding why you're doing these things?
I think it's recognizing a connection between what you want and what you can do about it. So yeah, I guess that's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be too. Yeah, I think you need to, you understand what you're doing. I remember watching, I watched a documentary on plants. I was trying to remember the name of it. My memory is definitely not part of my intelligence. But they did the super slow-mo, no, it'd be fast motion, super fast motion of root growth.
Okay.
And it looks just like a snake sniffing around or something sniffing around for food. You know, a root might grow in this direction for a while, and it goes over here, and I guess it doesn't find any nutrients, so it backtracks and goes back in this, and they just go wherever they need to go.
Yeah.
To find this food. So I was thinking about that today. Is that showing that plants are intelligent?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a
definitely the chimpanzee fits both our definitions.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if a plant does.
It does. And see, I didn't even think about intelligence. Like, in my definition, I didn't think beyond humans.
Oh, okay.
My definition kind of started with, I have a really good friend that was not traditionally successful in the academic sense.
Yeah.
You know, in high school, college type stuff. But once he graduated, like, he has been amazingly successful because he has this what I call this personal intelligence. You know, it's interpersonal. I think that's what Gardner calls it, interpersonal intelligence. Yeah. People skills. Where he exactly.
Yeah.
It's fascinating because I don't have those. Like, I don't read people very well. Like, I have a really hard time knowing did that person, were they joking? Did they really mean that? Did they really want that? And I'm just I don't have that skill. Whereas my friend is just so brilliant at that. And that's what his job requires. He goes into, I mean, he's basically in sales of sorts, and he goes into situations and he says, I pretty much have to decide, and in like 45 minutes, what does this person need, and how can my company provide it? And without ever saying, what do you need and how can we provide it? You know? And I just think that's fascinating. And I've seen him do it so many times in social settings. Like we'll be out to dinner with somebody, and by the end of the night, the waiter loves him.
Yeah.
I mean, they just love him. And I'm like, what did he do why did he get an extra cocktail? Why did he get a bigger steak?
Yeah.
but he just has that I don't know, charm, personal skills, whatever you want to call it, right? But and he's very dismissive of it, and I always say that's an intelligence. That's no different. That's no different than me looking at a polynomial and saying, yeah, that's factorable, and this is how I can do it.
Yeah. Well, if you apply it to the definition that I had earlier, he's taking the skills he knows and has learned and the information, and he's using it to meet specific goals. Yep. So so you're talking about the intelligent person that didn't do well in school. And that made me think of somebody when you're talking about that I've always been amazed by is another person that didn't do well in school who those of us that are from Louisville, Kentucky, and get to see quite a bit of him know he was obviously very intelligent is Muhammad Ali.
Right.
I can't remember from the Muhammad Ali Museum tour if I think he might have even graduated last in his class. I remember he didn't go to school very often because he didn't do well, and he was dyslexic and didn't read well. So there are definitely people that don't do well in school that are highly intelligent. But I think highly intelligent people do well in school.
So for the most part,
most of the time, yeah.
Because I think that's the structure. I mean, this goes back to our pod a couple of weeks ago. That's the structure of school. That's what the model of school is. A traditional version of intelligence. We're going to give you situations that if you're good at this version of intelligence, you will do well on. And you could, I don't want to get way out of bounds here, but you could argue that there are lots of reasons why that was the model because of what it was supposed to do, who it was supposed to train, and who it was not supposed to train. You look at, if you look at history, you look at the history of music and how songs were conveyed from generation to generation as a form of like culture, right? Well, that's no different than everybody reads Greek literature, but it's not the version that school recognizes or traditionally recognizes and reinforces. Because if you can't read, then you're not intelligent.
Yeah.
But if you know the stories from the songs and can convey the messages of the songs and the ideas of the songs, then you are intelligent. You are able to take, that's no different than saying, oh, this is whatever, you go to Greek, this is what Homer meant, and this is what, Achilles represented, and this is what, however, I'm not that knowledgeable about Greek literature, but to say that these were what they were, I don't know that that's any different when you look at the ideas and the themes of gospel spiritual songs or, Negro spiritual songs or Appalachian, Irish tunes that came over from Ireland that became traditional Appalachian songs. How is that necessarily any different than generation to generation conveying ideas and expecting the young ones to understand those ideas and ideas both as values and ideas as how to move forward, and teach to your own children. Some people say, oh, that's what you learn in school. You learn that stuff in school. Yeah, maybe. Like, I don't think Cassius Clay's family necessarily depended upon school to provide that to him. But clearly, somewhere along the way, he learned. I mean, he's a pretty admirable guy, and he learned.
Yeah.
He learned a lot, and as far as the rituals and traditions and being a good person. So
what do you think about? Is intelligence synonymous with ability?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I think there is that, who is that?
So it's not necessarily, so if you, I'm going to go back to my definition again. If you're talking about using information and skills to meet goals, you can be unsuccessful in meeting those goals more often than successful and still be intelligent.
Yes.
If intelligence and ability is not synonymous.
Right, because I have two thoughts. One is the one I was trying to think of, and I can't remember her name, but I think you've read the book, Grit. You know that book?
Yeah.
About perseverance, the power of perseverance.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then, because I think that's where ability comes in. At times, I think that's where intelligence transforms or becomes manifest. And you have to have the grit to apply that because you're going to fail. And ability comes about developing skills through failure.
Yep.
And
that
I
goes
think
back that goes back to Muhammad Ali again. Didn't he say something about it's not bad getting knocked down 10 times as long as you get up 10 times or something like that?
Didn't say that.
Something like that. I probably got away.
I was thinking of Edison. Invention is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration.
Yep.
Or something. I don't know if I got the quote right there, but.
I wonder how talking about Edison, I wonder how many failed experiments he has. Thousands and thousands, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. and I think that's, I don't know. To me, that's one of the issues that seems to be lacking in a lot of general understanding about the nature of science. I mean, science is failure, in the true sense.
Yeah.
Because we learn something every time we fail. We try X didn't work. Well, this component of X may have been why it didn't work. Let's try Y, but change that component, So I think that's a big.
So do you think our question tonight falls under psychology? And do you consider psychology science?
Do I?
Yeah.
No. This is a hot take and probably not popular. I have a really hard time applying what I think of applying general rules to sort of soft sciences, like the rules of science. I think psychology is so complicated.
Like intelligence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like when I did chemistry, when I was a graduate student, I was doing a reaction and I controlled the temperature and I controlled the concentration of this and that. And I got a product. And I knew that these were the 4 variables involved and this was the outcome. And obviously one of these variables was an issue. I don't think you can apply that same metric or that format to psychology. So to me, that's where it fails to be what I consider a science. And people talk about a hard science versus a soft science. So I guess in that way, I don't think of psychology as a science. I don't mean that pejoratively. I'm not trying to hate on science or hate on psychology, but but I don't know that I think it's. But yeah, to your original question, is intelligence part of psychology? I would say yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Are you familiar with executive functioning?
Yes. Yeah.
So I really got into that at the end of my career, and I was thinking today when I was looking at intelligence how executive functioning. I was looking back today. I wrote them down. There's basically three. It's working memory, uh, basically managing everyday tasks like making plans, solving problems and adapting to new situations. I mean, very close to how you could define intelligence. With
Sure. Yeah.
you do have to have the information and skills and things to apply. Um, but I was looking at that at the end of schooling because there was a lot of research, which I guess would be scientific research, and trauma and how it impacts the prefrontal cortex, which organizes all these executive functioning
Hmm.
skills, which is going to make a person appear, if you have lack of self-control and you can't adapt to a situation that changes and, you don't have any working memory in the short term to process what you're doing to solve a problem, you're going to appear to be, by definition of what most people would think, not intelligent.
Hmm.
And so I guess where I was going with this, I was thinking, in your mind, do you think intelligence is something that you're born with, or something that you develop as you go through life, or both?
I think it is. It's like anything else. I think you have a propensity. So if we want to say like, and I don't know how I could quantify this, but you're operating within a certain bandwidth of intelligence, and then where you go within that bandwidth is not fixed.
I agree.
Like I mean, there are some people who are doing as well as they can. They're doing the best they possibly can, but they're not going to be no matter how hard they work. I mean, we know this from our experience in classrooms. These kids are working as hard as they possibly can and doing everything they possibly can. And they're not going to perform at the same level as some of the other kids. They're just not. Now, is that on us? Is that on the system to say that those kids aren't as intelligent? Because maybe intelligence means, are you working at the maximum capacity of your genetic bandwidth? Maybe
Yeah.
that's what maybe that's what it means to be intelligent.
Well, that's kind of where we were going with schools and executive functioning. Is we're talking about trauma and the trauma that comes along with extreme poverty, and the fight and flight reflex is always on high alert.
Right.
So, and when that's always on high alert and you're always being chased by a bear, your prefrontal cortex can't develop, and
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
don't develop these problem solving skills. You don't develop the ability to change the unique situations. You just don't develop those. And what a school can do to try to help in those situations. And supposedly there is a lot of research proving that brain development and the way it's impacted by trauma and extreme poverty.
Well, where are you at on when you reflect on your times of we'll say what you perceive as your biggest failure? Where were you in that continuum? Were you under your maximum stress? Can you say I was able to think?
You mean in my personal life?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know for me, I asked the question. I mean, because I know for me personally, I mean, one is sort of trivial and one is not. And in both times, I felt like I was really under this tremendous amount of stress that my executive function was not
Oh
at its
yeah, yeah,
capacity.
yeah, yeah. It definitely can be like a temporary situation too. Like you're not gonna make your best decisions when you're stressed out. I
Yeah,
mean, even you know something like lack of sleep. If you're
right.
working too
Yeah,
much, it can impact you that way.
yeah.
Before I forget about it, though, I was wanting to think. You were talking about you do think there is some type of innate something in that's going to let you go to a certain level. I was thinking about my when I get on Instagram or Facebook or something like that, I get bombarded with video clips of dunks. That's my algorithm. I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated with dunking basketballs. Apparently,
you get bombarded like that's what you seek out, or you just have sought them out. That's what you get.
So do you get on Do you have Facebook or Instagram? Or?
I don't have Instagram. I have an account, but I'm never on it. Facebook, rarely, very rarely.
Well, I get on it for some of the things I'm involved in with Tapio recording and with my daughter, and so when you get on there, they recommend reels to you, which are short videos, less than a minute long. Mine are always one of two things. I get bombarded with basketball dunks and dance competitions.
Really?
And what's the
algorithm there?
Supposedly, the algorithm knows how long you stick on things, and I do. I watch them all. But when you were talking about, I was thinking about basketball dunks. I love basketball. I'm fascinated with dunks, and I could work a million years and never be able to dunk a basketball.
So you may find this impossible to believe because you know me and you know my athleticism.
Yeah.
And there was a time I could dunk.
Really?
Yeah. We had a goal in our backyard, and I just decided I was going to learn to dunk. And I would wear ankle weights to get stronger and stronger on my jump.
Yeah.
And I could never palm a basketball, but I could jump enough to get my wrist above the rim and throw the ball down.
If somebody
when I call it dunk, I don't know if it really was a dunk.
Somebody had to throw you a perfect alley-oop, huh?
Yeah. Oh, no, I couldn't do it on the alley-oop. I had to dribble it in. No, but yeah, I could actually dunk. Yeah, I could get not, I wouldn't say half my forearm, but a pretty good portion of my forearm above the rim. I mean, I could jump. There was a time, to keep in mind, this was a time when I weighed about 125 pounds. So there's a lot of force to get me up in the air.
And I don't know if it's a Red Bull dance competition or what it is, but there's these dance competitions where these people do things that just don't even look humanly possible.
Yeah.
And I'm just fascinated with them. I watch them from start to finish every time. I mean, to the point where I always wonder if they're AI.
Yeah.
Speaking of AI, man, you said you didn't consider non-human intelligence. What do you think about? Yeah. What do you think about artificial intelligence? Is that intelligence?
I mean, it's iterative. It's an accelerated iterative process. Like I said, to me, intelligence is gathering the information in front of you and making a good decision. If you make 1 million decisions a second, some of them are going to be good. It's the same old argument. Did you ever read what's that book, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's hilarious. You should by Douglas Adams. It's really funny. It's just about this guy that kind of this science fiction silliness, but he talks about this world where spaceships are powered by the power of improbability. Like if you took all the energy of all the things that didn't work out, that could drive a spaceship.
That book already hurts my head.
Well, it's just funny, I'm making it. It's just hilarious. It really is hilarious, and this is a small part of it. But so the way it's just so bizarre. So he has these spaceships that are powered by monkeys who are typing randomly, but he's selected the monkeys who are typing Shakespeare. So all the other monkeys who are just randomly hitting the keyboard and not typing Shakespeare, their energy is what drives the spaceship. So that's kind of my opinion right now of AI. Yeah, if you do a thing 1 million times, one out of the million might happen upon a thing that's good or a good decision. I don't know if that's the way I want to run the universe, though, because that's a lot of wasted energy.
Well, that's why that's why Elon Musk is trying to harness 1% of the sun's energy so he can provide for all that.
So speaking of which, I heard this today, and I thought this was fascinating. Kind of back to our pod about satellites. There are companies trying to launch satellites to build data centers in the atmosphere, in the, what did Connor call it? Not the
geo,
Earth, but the geo, yeah. Because you don't have to cool it. They generate all this energy from all this iterations in AI. And one of the big issues on Earth is, what do you do with all that excess energy? Well, this company is trying to create this model that they draw energy from the sun to generate the energy, and you don't have to worry about the heat that it generates because it's in space. It just dissipates out into the universe.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I kind of like that idea. I think I don't know. I mean, I think you and I are in very different places in AI. I'm very kind of anti-AI.
I wonder if they need precious metals to build those data farms. Because did you see the prices of gold and silver and how much they've gone up? Oh, it's crazy.
I saw it was silver hit an all-time high this week. I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's gone way up. So,
yeah.
Well, Elon Musk said that we have hit singularity. What's your definition of that?
Yeah, I don't know that. My definition of singularity or Elon Musk?
Of singularity. I don't know if I really understand exactly what it means.
I thought singularity was when it's the point at which the space-time continuum, like space and time, meet at a common point. I thought it was something related to that, but I don't know. I'm not going to.
Well, the podcast I watched, what I got from him was, I don't know if this is singularity, but this is how it applied to AI and his definition. AI now is at the point where it is improving itself at a level faster than humans can improve it.
Yeah, okay. I can see that.
And he said that the advancement is going to be beyond anything that we can think up in our head right now. And the inventions and things that are going to come from that, we can't comprehend at this point that's going to happen over the next 5 to 10 years. And one of the comments he made was that in 5 years, everybody in the world will get the best medical treatment there's ever been in the existence of civilization because of AI for free. For free.
Free. Yeah, I don't know about that. He doesn't strike me as a for free kind of guy.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you watch the TV show The Pit?
No.
Are you familiar with this show?
So
it's entertaining. It's fictional, obviously, and it's set in an ER in Pittsburgh. And what's cool about it as a show is every hour of the show is an hour of real time in the ER. And
is it reality? Is it like a documentary type thing?
No. It's fiction. Okay. It's only fiction. And I have a good friend that's an ER doctor, and then I have the other friend I was talking about that's a surgeon. I've talked to them about it, and they said, yeah, they've both been in their careers for about 30 years. They said, yeah, everything that happens on that show is real, but it doesn't happen in 12 hours. Like all of those things have happened to me in the ER, but not in 12 hours.
Yeah.
So that's but as it relates to this, they have a new character this season, and she's really big on using AI medicine. Like, we need to use AI. And there's already been 2 cases where, not with 95% accuracy, AI said this is what the patient needed. Well, you know what happened, right?
Yeah.
It was the 5% that it was, and the patient didn't help the patient. So, I mean, it does. We both have math degrees. We know that if you have a correlation of 95% and you continually address the 5%, your correlation's going to improve. I mean, if you collect, 10 data points to draw a line, and you have a correlation of 95, and then you collect 100 points to draw the same line, you're going to get closer to the true line. And I guess the issue for me is with this AI as it relates to medicine. I don't know that the line is always a line when it relates to humans, because our biologies are not all the same. They're not exactly the same.
Yep.
And I think AI presumes they are. And that's the part for when you say that AI will take over medicine. That's what concerns me, because I want my doctor or my healthcare professional to have some knowledge about, well, systems normally work this way, but this person also has this other attribute to their functioning right now. That seems to be relevant. I don't want to overlook that. And I don't know that I don't know enough to know, but I don't think that AI currently can juggle all those proverbial balls at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think, I'd have to agree. It's going to be, the next 5 years are going to be crazy if we do get to the point where a computer can make a better decision on your path than a doctor.
Well, it also is, to get to literary, this was kind of the whole, I'm sure there were others, but this was the premise, this was the issue in the book Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Just because we can, do we have to, there are ethical components of should we?
Yep.
And that was what that was, that story as an allegory was all about. And there are lots of others, but that's kind of where I'm at. One of the things that bothers me the most about tech-ish stuff is when I hear more and more about how a lot of these proverbial tech bros they didn't take humanities classes. They don't believe in that stuff. I just think there's a lot for us to learn about dealing with humans and being human that we can learn from literature and art and movies and music. That if you just say it's all about the tech,
that's a great point. Yeah,
that scares me a lot. That scares me a lot because I'm as sciencey as I am. You and I, we've had this numerous conversations. We love music. We love music. We think it's so important in our lives. So, but,
yeah. Another thing that stood out to me in that was he said there's going to be 10 billion humanoid robots in 10 years. That's probably that's probably wishful thinking on his part because I'm sure he's going to be selling them.
Yeah, I don't know what is a Roomba a humanoid robot?
I don't know.
I guess does what I do when I sweep the floor. So yeah. It's kind of humanoid. Yeah. I don't know if that counts as a humanoid, or is he actually talking? Is he actually speaking of walking and talking and?
No. I think he was talking about like a Roomba on up to the ones you see doing backflips and things. I guess.
Yeah. Well, that might be true. When I first learned about Roombas and how they work and how they make a map of your floor plan and remember it, it impressed me, but it kind of freaked me out.
Yeah, we used a Roomba for a while, but we just decided it was easier to vacuum.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't use ours very much anymore either, actually.
What were you getting ready to ask me?
Well, no, I was just saying, I see by the clock that we're well past our half hour again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I guess we better grade.
All right, so let's give a grade. Where are we at on the... I don't want to upset our critical fans.
On what is intelligence? Is that what we're going to grade on having a clear definition?
A grade on what is our sense? What is our sense of intelligence?
I think you and I would have to give you and I a B because we came up with very similar definitions. Yeah,
and I do like your point that we're kind of I don't know, we sort of prejudiced the jury, so to speak. We spent between the two of us 60 years in education. Yeah. So we've been dealing with what does it mean to be intelligent? How do we measure intelligence?
Yeah. I think we probably have a broader definition. We like to find everybody's gift.
I think we also saw it, right?
Yeah, but the other side of that is we're talking about two educators. Education institutions don't do a very good job of that.
You mean don't do a very good job of defining
of recognizing a wide variety of abilities. It's kind of like we were talking, about how SAT scores are rewarded and going on to college and that whole path. That's still a very big part of schooling.
Yeah. Well, it's just an interesting personal bit. So my youngest son's architecture. He's his fourth year of architecture student, so he's almost an architect. And he's applying to graduate schools. I said, "Are you taking the GRE?" He said, "Well, a lot of schools don't require it."
Oh, really?
And I said, "Oh, that's interesting." And he said, "Well, yeah, Dad, it's really about your portfolio."
Oh, okay.
Which is
that's good.
Exactly in contrast to what we're saying.
Yeah,
or maybe
good.
It's consistent with what we're recognizing. Like, show me what you can do, not how well you'll do in a class.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's a great thing. Because that GRE test, that test made me feel dumber than any test I ever took in my life. For one thing, it was adaptive, so as soon as you got a few questions right, they start throwing these questions on you that you're like, what the heck?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's even interesting now. Did you take it online? I assume you took it online?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. See, I'm older. I took the pen and paper version, but he was taking it, and he said, I can't remember, something weird happened, like I can't remember the story, but something happened that he thought that they were going to think he was cheating. Because like something happened in the room and he responded to that thing and he thought that his score was going to get invalidated or something, but it ended up not being an issue. But he wasn't dismissive of it. But I think it was probably half of the schools he applied to, so we'll say 4 out of 8 didn't even ask for GRE.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, yeah.
Present your portfolio and defend it.
And I know there's fewer schools, undergraduate programs, requiring ACT and SAT scores too. So. Yeah,
I don't know. I got some thoughts on that. I kind of feel like that's we know the type of kids that get into the elite schools.
Yeah.
And we know the collection of, sort of their respective resume, if you will, that they have to assemble. And if you're a kid that's getting 35 on your ACT, you've got the other pieces too.
Oh, yeah.
So they can say, oh, you don't need an ACT score.
They've just replaced it. You think they just replaced it with something else that shows the same?
We better see these other 5 things.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm so glad to be out of my kids got to go to college.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to stick with a B on intelligence, but I'm also going to say that I think our definition of intelligence might change a lot or broaden with artificial intelligence as we.
Well, curiously enough, you planted the seed and kind of challenged me to go the other way. Like, how does my definition of intelligence apply to other non-humans? Well, not necessarily artificial, but to other species.
Yeah.
Like, what do we see in dolphins? Dolphins are supposedly super smart. I hear that pigs are allegedly really smart. Like, what are they doing so I don't know.
Yeah. So what's your grade?
All right. So what's next?
What's your grade?
Yeah.
Did you give a grade?
I did not give a grade. I would say probably about the same.
Okay.
I think B plus. I think we have, but like I said, I think it's a little unfair because this is kind of in our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so I wrote down a few tangents, and while I was doing that, I thought next week you're going to write down the tangents. All right.
Okay, fair enough.
So I got music. We hit on music a little bit. Soft and hard science, soft versus hard science, I guess you'd say. AI we talked about a lot, but that could fall in intelligence or does. We talked about sports and basketball and dancing and social media reels and algorithms. We talked about solar energy and data farms, singularity, and a little bit about TV shows. Should we try to totally change it up? Should we do more of a pop culture type thing?
I like the idea because I don't know anything about it and I'm fascinated by it, and you know more about it than I do. Like the whole idea of algorithms, like media. What's the social media? How does that work? How does it work? Is it accurate? I mean, the only one I have is, once a year I get my Spotify, whatever that's called.
Your
And I'm
profile.
always amazed. I'm like, well, how in the world did they come to this? Like, I think this year my Spotify age was like 72. I'm like, how am I 72?
That was because you listened to Bruce Springsteen 100% of the time.
No, that's what was weird.
I bet Bruce Springsteen's 72.
He's about, I think he is. I think he's older than that. But no, like, that's what was weird about it. Because, like, yes, Springsteen was in my top 5, but so was Kendrick Lamar and Jason Isbell.
Yeah.
Those guys aren't 72, and I don't think there's a whole lot of 72-year-olds.
Hey, that Jason Isbell song that you throw in between 25 Bruce Springsteens doesn't
count.
doesn't count.
Doesn't bend the needle. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't know. That's one thing. That's one thing that's interesting to me, and I know you know more about it than I do. Hell, everybody knows more about it than I do.
All right.
I'm very anti. I'm not anti. I'm just ignorant about.
So we're gonna go with social media algorithms.
Yeah.
Or just
good.
social media, or
No, I want to get the algorithm.
social media
I
algorithms.
want to see what we think on that.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week with social media algorithms.
All right. Thanks, Brad. Good seeing you.
Yep, you too.